What is the reality of being a new project manager? Is it hard? Is it easy? Is it insanely difficult? I'm going to be sharing with you the most surprising truths in case you want to be a project manager this year. So stick until the end because I'm going to share with you the top 3 skills that you must absolutely know if you want to break into this career path. So I want to share with you my humble opinion and my perspective. In fact, I think it's awesome. And this might be biased because I am an engineering project manager. And the real question here is, can you actually succeed as a project manager? Is it actually worth diving into this career path? And in this video, I want to give you the clarity and the confidence so that you have my permission to dive fully deep into it if this is something that you want to get into. So the very first thing is, what is it really like as a project manager? Is it like this image here that I put on the screen where you're this Lego block guy who's feeling anxious? He's in his cubicle on a desk. It looks like he's even looking at a Gantt chart, right? Which all of us project managers do, at least on a weekly basis. And he's just feeling overwhelmed, right? Is it like that? Well, truthfully, it was never really like that for me as I became more experienced in project management. But I want to rewind back here, okay? I graduated from UC San Diego, or the University of California, San Diego, with my engineering degree. And I worked for quite a few years as an engineer. And along the way, I wanted to become a project manager because I wanted something different for my life, for my career. You see, as an engineer, I would work long hours every day and even on the weekends. I would sit in my cubicle and do designs, testing, analysis, and then I would rinse and repeat that every single day nonstop. And because I was just an engineer, I wasn't the project manager or the project lead, there were many days where I just felt like, is this all that being an engineer is gonna be like? Am I just gonna be stuck doing this until I retire at the age of 67? Hopefully, crossing my fingers, right? Am I just going to be doing this hustle and grind, looking at designs, improving designs, going on calls, optimizing what I'm working on, improving processes, and so on and so forth? I just started to lose my excitement for being an engineer because I wanted to make a bigger impact on my life personally as well as professionally. I wanted a way to still have a bigger impact on the company that I was working at. However, I also wanted to make a bigger income. And as an engineer at the time, I felt like I was putting in very long hours. I was working from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then I would come home and I'd work from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. every single day. And I'd even work really late on the weekends just to meet like a deadline. Because as an engineer, you're supporting multiple projects, but you're not the project lead in many instances. You're just the engineer who's trying to get the wheels in motion, so to speak. Is that making sense so far? And so I was at a crossroads in my life where I thought, gosh, if there was any way where I could make more income, still do more impactful work, and somehow either still work the same hours or even less, I'll be extremely happy with it. And in my company that I worked at, there were project managers who were working equal or even less hours than I was, but they were making at least 10 to 20, maybe even 30% more income than I was. And I was just confused. You know, here I was just sitting at my desk doing all this hard work. When I saw the project managers, don't get me wrong, they were very good at communicating and leading teams, but they weren't the ones doing the brunt force of the work. And as an engineer, I thought, wow, it would be really cool to be in that kind of leadership role where I don't have to work 10 to 12 hours every single day, burning the midnight oil, and finally make an income that I feel like I truly deserved. And when I did research on PMI's website, I found that project managers can easily make 6 figures in the United States. And with a PMP, it's guaranteed to, not guaranteed I should say, but you're going to be steps ahead to earn the income that you want. And that was when I decided to pivot my career and go into project management. And that was one of the reasons why, as soon as I realized and I had this epiphany, I applied and I became an engineering project manager. And this is me. This is me actually working as a real life project manager. And this is a screenshot of me actually working as a manager of project management. I'm sitting here on a phone call. I'm leading a project sync. You can see me here having my headphones on, and I'm actually leading a call. And that's what project managers do. We're on calls, we're communicating with other people. It could be a vendor, it could be a team member. We could be driving design reviews or daily stand-ups or a sprint review or a retrospective, or you could even be having calls with senior leadership. Every day is different. And I want to give you a few ideas on what an actual day in the life looks like. Just remember that a project manager will be doing different work than you're already used to. If you're a technical engineer or if you're a normal contributor to typical activities. A project manager is one step above, meaning you're not usually just doing the day-to-day work, but you're overseeing the team to make sure the right things get done on time, within budget, at a specific time frame. So a typical day is always about communication. You're working with different people to make initiatives happen. You could be having a discussion with another manager about a new project. The project may go fully into fruition or it may fail, right? It all depends on how things blossom. The bottom line is a big part of your day is figuring out what's going wrong with this project and how can you get the right people in the right room to make things go in the right direction. How can we keep going? And just as an example, I remember when I first landed my project manager job, I was put in a position where I had to speak to all these different managers and directors who I had no idea who I was working with. And I had to get on a call with them or even meet in person with them to understand what are the biggest roadblocks in our process and figure out how can we improve the process and how can we get the right engineers and the right people, the right technical staff to drive improvements so we can make this project a success to the company. That's what being a project manager is about. Now you could also be on new product development projects where you're leading a group of engineers, analysts, procurement, supply chain, and marketing to launch a new product to market. And those kinds of projects are extremely exciting because it feels like you're on the cutting edge of technology and you're literally on the front edge of your seat. Every day is different and you don't know what's going to happen next. By the way, I'm so passionate about helping you land your job in project management that I have a free gift for you. If you need help landing a project manager job, download my free resume template at alvinthepm.com/resume template. This is the exact template that I've used to land multiple project manager jobs and helped me pivot from engineer to engineering project manager. So go ahead, download my free resume template at alvinthepm.com/resume template. Now, I've walked you through a few examples, but one specific example that I want to share with you is when I was working and leading an engineering team to develop and launch a new product. Depending on the project that you're working on, you could be in different phases of the project. You could be in the initiation phase where you're gathering data, you're working with managers and directors to create a business case. In other instances, for a different project, you could be in the execution phase where you're actually leading the team, going on calls, reviewing designs, actually looking at the product that you're physically creating before you validate it with your customer. And then in another project, you could actually be closing out the project. So you're always working on projects in different phases, okay? So in my example, there was an example of a project where I was leading a group of engineers to develop a mechanical product. And we had to launch it to market in the next year and a half. And that timeline is very, very tight if that one product has all these multiple components. So you have to interface with vendors. You have to talk to not just engineering teams, but software engineering, product engineering, testing engineering, and of course, quality assurance engineering. And then you also have to interface with marketing to better understand the positioning behind the product and how it's going to be used by the final customer. So that's one example of how, as a project manager, you're literally on the edge of your seat, trying to build things with everyone and seeing the fruitions of your real hard labor and effort as it's being tied to one of the biggest revenue generators for your company. It's truly exciting. And as I've mentioned earlier, it can feel like you're juggling multiple balls at the same time. And you don't want to drop any ball all of a sudden. Each project you're leading, as I talked about earlier, you're doing it in a different cycle or at a different stage in the project life cycle. Could be initiation, could be execution, or even monitoring and controlling. And so to become really good at not just leading one project, you also have to be very good at juggling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects at once, depending on the company that you work for. So there are a few skills that you really, really need to master. It's almost like playing chess. You need to be very strategic with what moves you're making so that you are leading yourself and your team to success. You can't just do things randomly and hope and pray to the gods that things will work out in your favor. It doesn't work that way. Yes, you should pray, of course, but you want to be strategic with every single move that you make so that you can expect or do your very best to get the biggest triumphs in your projects and in your career. The very first skill is leadership. You need to be a leader if you're going to be in a project management role. Every project manager is some type of a leadership-oriented position. Why is it a leadership role? Well, because you're literally the front of the team. You interface directly with managers, senior managers, directors, and even vice presidents. The engineers and everyone else who are on the project, they're not going to be the ones who are interfacing with those high-level executives, but you are. You're going to have to be leading not just your weekly or daily stand-ups, but you're going to be the ones who are presenting in the steering committees or the bi-monthly project updates. That's on you, my friend, and you have to be the one who's being able to lead the team, and still you have to stare fear down the barrel even if all these issues are appearing and you don't know what's going to happen next. You have to have this fearless mentality, or not necessarily fearless, but this mindset of it doesn't matter what happens, we are going to figure out how to make it work. And you need to have that mindset and transfer it over to any conversation you have with leadership, because you want to instill in them that you're the right person who will lead the team to success. If they ask, are we on track? Are we behind the schedule? You need to be able to deliver and communicate effectively what the status is and the reason for why we're behind schedule or under budget or over budget, as an example. And one of the best resources in case you're wanting to pursue a career in project management to learn how to be a better leader, I recommend this book, and it's called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. This has sold over 4 million copies. And what I did when I was working as an engineering project manager was I read one chapter every day, or at least every 2 days. And when you do that, in 1 month, you learn all of the biggest principles on how to be an effective leader, which is very instrumental to being a successful project manager. The second skill is being a strong communicator. 90% of our jobs is communicating on the phone, through Teams, Slack, or even in in-person meetups or conferences. You have to be able to speak confidently even if you don't know all the technical details. If you can communicate, then you will be a very, very strong powerhouse in your company. I'm talking, there have been moments where I didn't know all the technical details. However, because I knew how to pivot and still communicate about what the high level picture was, I still was able to navigate those very tough conversations and still deliver value that my management team was still looking for. So you need to be able to think fast on your feet, but also communicate exactly what that stakeholder is looking for in that exact moment. Do they want to have a status update? Do they want to know more specific details about an issue or your roadblocks? Be able to communicate in very concise words and also in the terminology that will make them understand what they need to hear. And third, the biggest skill that I've had to develop over my 10 plus years as an engineer and a project manager is mindset. And I've put this image of a soldier carrying this armor and this shield because it has been so instrumental to having this mindset of a warrior mentality. There will be days where you just want to quit and give up. You'll be feeling intimidated and scared because some person or some other people may not like working with you. They may say something offhanded and it's going to hurt you. They may verbally criticize how you talk or how you communicate, but you can't let that get to you. You have to put on this shield, this armor, and you have to stand up for what you believe, and you have to have the confidence to believe in yourself and to think that you can do this no matter what, and that you can keep going even when the odds are stacked up against you. And one of the best exercises that helped me do this is I wrote down a list of everything that I'm proud of in my career and why I chose to pursue a career in project management. Some of the biggest reasons why I decided to become a project manager was because, number one, it helped me finally earn the income that I deserved. Number two, I felt like I was finally building the life that I always wanted for me and my family. Number three, we were able to finally move out of our 500 square foot apartment into a house. And the next one is a huge one, which is I finally feel like I have a better work-life balance as a project manager than I ever did as an engineer. No longer do I have to work 80, 70, 60 to 70 hour work weeks where I'm just staying late at the office, working until 6 or 7 p.m. As a project manager, I have a lot more flexibility. Yeah, I still work long hours, 8 to 10 hours a day, but it's not as bad as I did when I worked as an engineer, where I had to put in the long, hard hours to develop a product and launch it to market. It's different when you're the project manager. Those are all of my biggest reasons of why I have stuck with project management, even though there are the good and then there are the bad days. For you, what are the biggest reasons for why you want to be a project manager? I want you to write down 3 of your top reasons for why you want to be a project manager. In fact, drop me a comment down below in the comment section with one reason why you want to be a project manager. Is it the income, the job stability, because the profession is increasing in demand per PMI's recent report? What's your reason? Drop me your comment and your feedback in the comment section down below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Now, if you want to learn the best resources to get into project management, please watch this video next, and I'll see you in the next video.